What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Purple and Gold Bar Show. Sorry, I got a little caught up trying to do a little bit better at cutting up some of the lives and uploading. So I did manage to get a couple ones done today. Unlike before, I was really getting it done, and before I knew it, I had another week on me. So I had to let those go. Man, there's been so many potential uploads that I've just not been able to get uploaded in time, but hopefully the ones that we got today, tomorrow, from Monday's live, hopefully should you guys smile, you guys laugh. All right, so we are back at it. It is week 7. We're going to be doing the picks for the week, starting with Thursday night pick, going all the way to Monday. Let's get the show started. All right. Let's get right into it. We got to dive. Let me actually write down my picks as I go because I got to eat. Post. Case. Right here. Oh, we got JJ over here. And we got MJ, greatness. We got the GOAT, followed by the GOAT. And then over here, we got OV and Sid the Kid. So, legendary players surrounding me. So hopefully we can channel some of their greatness into these picks because it's been rough the last. It's been so hard to pick games this year. It's been a roller coaster ride, and even though it's been hard to pick games, it's been a heck of a season for football fans, guys that just love watching every game and seeing how it all plays out and loving football for the love of the game. Been that kind of season, guys. We've got big upset. We've had teams come out of nowhere. We've got shockers. We got literally everything. So let's get to it. Thursday night football. We got the Steelers versus the Bengals. Now the Steelers look to have shaken off all that rust. Aaron Rodgers did join the team late, so there was a little bit of continuity that needed to be worked on. And right now it looks like they've shaken just about all of it off. And so yeah, they no wonder they are the favorites, and they are traveling to Cincinnati, but the Bengals are what they are right now. Joe Flacco gives them a little bit of a boost in confidence, I guess, or maybe just hope. But I don't think it's going to be enough here. I think it's going to be another week for the Bengals to kind of continue to improve and find ways to try to scrape some wins here in order to try to salvage the season. I just don't think it's going to happen this week. This defense is too good. I don't think they can stop DK Metcalf. It's just going to be a wild game. It might be a little bit closer than people expect because Joe Flacco is a wily vet. He might have a couple of tricks on up his sleeve, and it's going to be another week added to his time, and he's going to have a full week of practice and preparation. So that might play a little bit of a factor, but I just think it's going to be too much for these Bengals. That's why I'm going to take the Steelers in a convincing win, 10 points. Now, moving on to the 9:30 game that I definitely will not be getting up to watch. I will be getting ready and going to church like I always do. So definitely gonna be missing one. I'll definitely watch the 40-minute condensed version once it's available. But we got two teams that have shown a ton of potential. They've shown flashes this year. They've won big games. They've also lost big games, right? So 2 4-2 teams coming in here to battle it to see which team is on the right path. The Rams have an incredible interior pass rush, and they can really disrupt what quarterbacks do and offenses do. They're notorious for that. Plus, they have a Hall of Fame quarterback and a top-tier gunslinger in Matthew Stafford, and he's got a deep bag. He keeps proving it year to year. I keep thinking maybe this might be the year he falls off, but I don't like saying those things because I don't want to look like Rob Parker's trying to say that Tom Brady was going to fall off for like 7 years straight. So I don't want to be that guy. Mr. Eric, New Mexico in the house. I love you, brother. Thanks for hanging out, man. So I don't want to. I don't want to say that about Matthew Stafford and never let it out, except for this moment, just to confess that I have been one of those guys that have been worrying when Stafford falls off a little bit here, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be this year, maybe next year. I don't know. I'm not going to gamble on that. Then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars doing a really good job this season of changing their narrative. They are struggling at times, and they are doing really, really, really good at times. It's another one of the coaches out of the Mike Shanahan tree, Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay, whatever you want to call it, Leon Cohen. That coaching tree has a stranglehold on the NFL, and everybody's succeeding with coaches from that coaching tree. So it's going to be a heck of a game. It might be similar to Rams 49ers. I don't know. We got coaching tree against coaching tree, right? Maybe it might be something like that. It might be similar to Rams Vikings last year, where because we were still kind of becoming ourselves, and the Rams are more established. They kind of uh, rolled through us a little bit here. So maybe it might come out like that, or maybe the Jaguars might come out and look more like they did against the Chiefs with that determination to win at all costs. Not sure, but when I look at this, I see the Rams traveling cross country. It's in Jacksonville. What am I talking about? It's not in Jacksonville. Duh. It's a Jacksonville home game, but it's in in England. Or is this the Germany game? I'm not sure, but it's overseas. So there's no real home field advantage here. Both teams are traveling. I'm really grasping at straws to try to come up with a good reason that one team will win over the other. Puka Nacua is injured, but Stafford can throw the ball to anyone as long as they do a good job of not dropping the ball and being consistent that way. They're gonna be just fine. The Jaguars also have that potential here. Now, who's gonna have the wobbly legs? Who's gonna take a little bit longer to get into NFL form after the long trip? I really want to say the Jaguars here, but I'm going to take the Rams in a 3-point victory. Rams by 3 points. Man, that's a hard one to pick. That's going to be a good game. I'm definitely going to be rewatching that one. Moving on to the Saints versus the Bears, the first 1 o'clock matchup that we got here. The Saints haven't looked terrible. Their record definitely makes them look worse than they actually are. They hang with a lot of players. They just don't have the ability to close out games. Spencer Rattler, like I've been saying this entire time, I really like what he's doing. I think he's a good quarterback. I think any team that's 15 or below, the lower half of the team, lower half of the NFL, would love to have a quarterback like Spencer Rattler. He's not going to throw away games. He's consistent. He's so that stability at the position is definitely something that most of those teams would love. But I feel like he's more of a game manager, and he's got a lot of limitations. And I just don't see him as that guy that can put a team on his shoulder and will them to win. Unlike and this game is going to be that type of game. The Bears, they are who they are. They're a great team on paper. They have been going up and down this season. I still think that they're going to be very up and down the rest of the season. Growing pains are going to be a factor like they have been at times this season. I don't think it's going to be a blow up by any stretch of the means for either team, but I still think the Bears win. Maybe not by 10, maybe not by 3, but I feel I'm going to take the Bears here by 7 points. But I wouldn't be surprised if this game was extremely close for whatever reason, whether it's the Bears not living up to their potential or the Saints just being straight consistent and being able to stay in games. And it might go the other way. It might come down to a field goal at the very end. But my intuition tells me that the Bears just have a little bit more talent, and they can be explosive at times. And if they can do it consecutively, they can get ahead of these Saints, and it'll be too hard for them to take over and bring that comeback and upset these Bears. So give me the Bears in a 7-point win. Here we go. We got the dumpster fire Dolphins going up against the Browns. Both teams are starting to figure some things out, because as I thought last week, I thought the Dolphins weren't going to put up as many points as they did, but they kind of made a game out of it. And so they can do some things right still. Their running back, David Chain, whatever. He's pretty decent. when he gets going, he can totally gas you up, and before you know it, it could be out of reach, and they're just going to run the clock on you and run the ball, right? But they're going up against a really solid defense. Dylan Gabriel is going into his next start. Hopefully, just by the process of playing more and more games, I'm assuming he's going to start refining and getting a little bit better and looking more like a starter. But I just don't see the Ben. I don't see the Browns putting enough of a game plan together. Like they made him throw 52 times last week, so I just don't even think that Kevin Stefanski can make a game plan that's good. Let's be real. I think that as much as the Browns have struggled this year, it's not always been on Joe Flacco or the offense's uh, fault entirely. I feel like a good third of that blame needs to go to Kevin Stefanski and the guys that are building up the game plan, because whoever thought it was going to be a good idea to throw the ball like they did last week, I just don't understand. Dylan Gabriel, if you read his draft profile, his strengths are quick passes and avoiding pressure, rolling out, doing all the little things, to kind of that if they were to do those in moderation and then heavily lean on their running game, they can win games. But they just can't put it together, and I feel that's coaching. They're just too broken up there. And even though the Browns, even though the Dolphins are doing better, that defense might be a little bit too much, and that Browns offense might just be able to put up enough points to beat them. Give me the Browns 15-9. Wow, that's going to be a snoozer of a game. 6-point win in embarrassing fashion. But the Browns get another win, hopefully, here, and we'll see what it is. Next, we got a battle of division foes here. We got the I almost said the Oakland Raiders, the last place. that'd be that'd be awesome, Eric, if that happened. I just can't go against probabilities sometimes. It'd be nice to see the Saints or the Aints become the Saints this week, but it's just too much of a wish, and I just like to go with probabilities. But man, I will be happy if the Big Easy, I think they're called, right? If they end up pulling it out. But let's get back to the Raiders and the Chiefs. Man, it's no secret that I think that the Raiders have a ton of potential, and I really want them to succeed. I think that Geno Smith has done a great job in his reclamation. He was the quarterback that helped me fall in love with the footwork in the pocket. And now it's something that I watch every single quarterback, and I really have become more critical about it. And I love him for that. I really like Alshon Jenti. I love his Michael Myers stance. I'm a huge horror movie fan, as you guys see here. Michael Myers being one of my favorite horror villains of all time, and so they have a lot of potential, right? And I've said that their division is wide open now. That I think the Chiefs are beatable. They don't have the aura of invincibility that they used to have. It's just that they're still a wily vet with great coaching and a great quarterback that if they get things going at the right time, if they get into the playoffs, they have a deep bag and they can find ways to win just because of their experience and their determination, right? So it's at Arrowhead, Las Vegas, going to the Chiefs. I feel like it's going to be uh, um, a closer game than people expect. I feel like the Raiders are starting to figure some things out. I know there's still a lot of things to work on here. I would not be surprised if the Raiders were able to put a decent amount of points up on the Chiefs. A big emotional win for the Chiefs, so that might play a factor here. But although I don't think it's going to be a massive factor because teams with championship pedigree don't let those things kind of get in their way. I think the Chiefs are gonna win this game. Give me the Chiefs in a 7-point win, 21-14. That's just what my intuition is telling me. I think it's just one of those games that you know. But I really would love to see Alshon Jenti just go off, run for like a buck 50 or more. 2, 3 touchdowns, just kind of run the clock on them and really do what teams need to do that are that are in the situation, up and coming teams or teams that aren't considered the best of the best. They really need to do the best that they can on defense. They really need to run the clock, and the more that they run the ball and the more that they have the time of possession on their side, the least chances that the Chiefs will have to win. But I just think that the Chiefs will find ways. Spagnuolo is a heck of a coordinator, and I think they come away with it in a 7-point win. Then we got the last 1 o'clock window, the game that I'm going to be definitely be focused on, of course, being a Minnesota Vikings channel and fan. Um, I do want them to lose, but I just have to. I always go by probabilities, and I try to be as objective as I can, especially in picks and with my reads on things. Because if not, I start venturing into the area of being a delusional Lions fan, and then just really going off anecdotes and things that aren't based in reality. So that's why I pick the games that I do, Eric. But yeah, my heart wants them to lose, and I really hope that the Saints can do enough. But I have to go with a level-headed, objective view when I look at these picks. But we got the Eagles coming to Minnesota. It's going to be a big game for us. If I honestly think that this team can win regardless of who the quarterback is. Going into the season, I said that this is going to be a roller coaster of a season. It's going to be a lot of ups and downs, growing pains, uh, and a lot of flashes. We already saw one legendary flash, historic flash in week 1. Um, and so I think that it keeps going. And so far, up to what I've seen from my Minnesota Vikings, that's exactly what I expected from them. I anticipated them to have an above 500 record going into the bye, and I anticipate going on from the bye going forward for us to look more like the team that we are on paper. I think they can will the roster, the defensive scheme that Brian Flores has, the as well as the defense itself, and the special teams play, and the weapons around our quarterback are going to make it so that they can essentially go through JJ McCarthy's growing pains. Or I didn't realize that there's going to be injuries and Carson Wentz is going to play as much, but even bring our backup quarterback to victory, even though he is clearly a quarterback two at this point in his career. I love Carson Wentz. I love his story. I love that he grew up a Minnesota Viking and he's living out his childhood dream. I love that for him, and I love the storyline. But JJ is the only option here. And if he makes it through a week of practice, and the last couple practices are full participation here, and he doesn't have any swelling or severe pain on Saturday prior to the game, I think he'll go. If he has any of those symptoms, our staff is too conservative and too risk averse to let that happen. So I think Carson will start. So regardless of which quarterback we play, I feel like we have the advantage, and this is going to be a solid win that'll continue to turn heads and keep proving what I think I am getting a good bearing when it comes to these Eagles. Now, the Eagles are struggling right now. It may very well be that their first year play caller, rookie play caller, whatever you want to call it, is showing some growing pains. Maybe that's why we're seeing uh, Saquon Barkley, generational talent, pulling up 17 yards of rushing in a game. Maybe that's why we're seeing Jalen Hurts throw -4 passing yards in the first half, or maybe even throw 0 passing yards in the second half. Not sure what is the problem. Maybe it stems from the dysfunction between Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, man. Last week when I was watching the Thursday night game and I watched those Giants put belt to ass to these Eagles, I saw Devonta Smith on the sideline with all the wide receivers just barking and chirping and trying to get in their ear, trying to get them motivated, being a leader. And the entire time, AJ Brown had his knees on his elbows on his knees, looking forward, smiling, oblivious to what was going on. Maybe he was even laughing at what Devonta Smith was doing. Maybe he's just that guy. Maybe he's a diva. Maybe he's more TO than Randy Moss when it comes to elite divas. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. Maybe he's just the cancer that is causing all this dysfunction. I don't know. But dysfunction is definitely what's going on in the Eagles here. I think that even with an off week of trying to get things right, I feel like they are going to come out better, but I think they haven't been able to put a solid 4 quarters together. I think that continues. Uh, Brian Flores is definitely going to make it extremely hard for him. The home field advantage is quite like none other when it comes to the Vikings. There's only a handful of teams out there that have that home field advantage. Last year we had, I think it was ESPN, that wrote an article about how the Vikings home field advantage was top tier, and it affects a lot of teams, especially in this first half. It shocks you if you've been in that stadium. I was there at home opener. It gets so loud, and it's the reason why we see a lot of these teams have a lot of these false starts or uncharacteristic mistakes or miscommunications, let's say on the defense, because they just can't hear anything in the midst of it. And so I think that uh, the Eagles will struggle to start the game. They'll try to find a little bit of their footing as the game goes, but I think because we're going to be the healthiest we're going to be, we're just going to be able to capitalize on those early drives that they're going to be stalling out on or forfeiting due to struggling from the noise. And before we know it, we'll have a nice 7, maybe 10-point lead. And from then on, it's going to make those Eagles revert to that pass heavy style offense that doesn't work for them. Right? We've seen what happened with Bo Nix and the Broncos, what they were able to do with them when they start to fall apart and they can't handle it. We saw the Giants, a team that I've been saying since last year. I really like the Giants. They remind me of our Vikings when we were in between Zimmer and KOC, when we were just all raw talent and no direction and no guidance. Just wildly inefficient at times. But when we put it together, man, we could hang with anybody. And I think the Giants proved that. And now we're just that much further down the road. We're more consistent. We're going to have less backups out there. So there's going to be more consistency as a result out of there. We got Blake Cashman returning. We got the potential return of Van Ginkel. He was limited in participation this week. So as long as, he might be back, there's a lot of guys that might be back and might be the difference in our efficiency. So with that being said, I think the Vikings take this one convincingly. It's going to be a back and forth game. It's going to be a classic Minnesota Vikings game where we refuse to go away, or we just keep that small lead, even a 10-point or 7-point lead, and just kind of use that to our advantage and use the clock management game. Give me the Vikings 24-14 against the Eagles. I got to write these down so I can email them over to the host here. 10 points. Woo! All right, let's move on for the Panthers and the Jets. You know what? It's been no secret for me too that I think that the Jets are a fascinating team. I was curious to see what Aaron Glenn can do. I know they're struggling. They're only undefeated. They're the only winless team in the league right now. They are definitely far from being able to accomplish or become the team that they're hoping to become. I do see that there is a difference in this team from last year. It's not the same Jets team. They just are just as wildly ineffective as they were last year, just in different ways. Their offense looks different to me. They just haven't found ways to put it together. Maybe they're still missing pieces. I don't know what it is. Maybe they just need to draft a good quarterback next year, and maybe that might fix their woes. Hey, look what Jackson Dart did to these Giants. He definitely injected a whole new kind of optimism, a whole new vibe into that team, and they are playing different with him. Maybe that's all the Jets are missing, so we won't know. And maybe it is a little bit true to that, because when Tyrod Taylor plays, they look a little bit more inspired. So I don't know. We'll see. But we got the Panthers. Rico Dowdle, man. That boy is kicking butt. One thing I said that before that game, that I noticed that a lot of people were doubting what Rico Dowdle did just because he did it against a bad defense. And then I said, wait a second, guys. Did you guys forget that the Cowboys defense is also hot garbage too? So I expected to see that happen. But I also said that it's going to be a dangerous game for these Panthers because the only thing that these Cowboys can do, these dumpster fire Cowboys, is get in a boat race with you. And if they can, they can score points with the best of them. But unfortunately, the Panthers were ready. They had a great defensive effort, and they were able to put those Cowboys away, and it was glorious to see. There were no glory holes in in Dallas last week, so I'm gonna take the Panthers 24-10. Panthers. Woo. 14-point win. Ooh, that's gonna be a tough game. Next, we got the Patriots versus the Tennessee Titans. Man, there's no secret that I really want Cam Moore to succeed. There's just so much dysfunction and so many things that are going wrong, as well as inconsistency, that it's very hard to bet on them. I didn't even bet on them to win against the Cards. I bet on the consistency of the Cardinals' defense, and that sometimes Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. can get things right, and they should have won that game. But man, that frustration with the Kyler Murray experiment is boiling over, and it's affecting all aspects of that team. I really think they need to move on from him. They need to, man, I don't know, can they fleece Carolina and do an old classic quarterback swap? Maybe bring Bryce Young there, maybe try to reinvigorate both franchises. But you know what? I think Bryce Young is on the right path, and they might be thinking he is our guy, and we just got to find more ways to help this young man. And hey, maybe they trade with the Dolphins. You know, dumpster fire with dumpster fire. Maybe it's just a quarterback swap away before they start doing it. But I have no idea what's going to go on in the postseason. But when it comes to these Titans and these Patriots, I can't bet against these Patriots. They are looking too good. They are one of my teams that I have been saying, along with the Giants, that we're going to shock the world in many ways. I didn't think it was going to be on the records. With their records per se, but the Patriots are proving me wrong that way. They're doing really good, but they are making me look good on that prediction that I said that Mike Vrabel was going to be the coach of the year. And as of right now, I think he might be the front runner based on what we're seeing. So I'm going to take the Patriots in a decisive win. Give me 31-13. Patriots. Blowout. Ooh, that's going to be a fun game for my brother-in-law. He's a massive Patriots fan, and he's been riding since before the New England dynasty emerged. So he's been a lifelong Patriots fan. So I have a soft spot for them. That's why I always want them to do good. All right, we got the New York Giants against the Denver Broncos. The Giants are traveling to Denver here. Now, this defense, I'm also on record saying that the two best defenses at the end of the year are going to be the Broncos and the Vikings after it's all said and done. I don't know who's going to be best, first or second here, but I think it's going to be those two at the very end, the top two defenses. So far, those two defenses looking pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. The Giants, a lot of potential. I've already said a lot about what I think about them. Jackson Dart is awesome. I love Cam Scatterbo. I love the way he runs. And it's not Adrian Peterson, but it's that same angry style running that I fell in love with, and I love running backs that run like that. So it's going to be a wild game. It's going to be close. The defense is going to make it hard for the Giants. And the Giants are going to make it hard on these Broncos because they're going to continue to put points up, and they're going to have to continue to lean on Bo Nix here, right? This one I feel like is going to be a lot closer than anybody will give credit. I feel like the Giants at this point, the way that they're on the roll, and if things continue to go forward the way they are, they can hang with any team. Home field advantage is going to play a factor. But can the Cowboys capitalize and put up a ton of points from those early mistakes and penalties? I think it's going to be too close. I think it's going to be like that. I think it's, oh man, this is going to be a hard one to pick. I'm going to take the Giants in the upset. With a walk-off field goal by 3 points at the end, it's going to be, give me 17 to 14. 17 to 14. Let's go that. Moving on to the Indianapolis Colts, the Indiana Jones-led Colts against the Chargers. The Chargers did a good job of trying to remind people that it's just injuries. The culture's still here. The hard work that Jim Harbaugh has put together is still banging on all cylinders over here. So this is a hard one to pick. Injuries versus a strong and surging team. Now, this is the first team that I think a lot of people are gonna be looking closely at the Colts, because a lot of people have been saying they haven't beat anybody. So let's wait till they beat a good team. And this might be that team that people might start looking back and saying, you know what, I kind of feel bad that I've been dogging on these Colts. That's why I stopped dogging on them for a while, or not really openly, but in my mind, and just kind of thinking, let's just wait. I don't want to be that guy that puts them at the top of my power rankings for them to finish like 17th at the end of the season, right? So let's wait. But now we have to give credit where credit is due. It's amazing what a change of perspective for Daniel Jones has done after, seeing what a championship caliber team, or championship caliber in the making team in our Vikings and KOC has done for this young man's career. I really like what's going on in Los Angeles with the Chargers. The Colts are traveling to LA as well. I think it's going to be a close game. And I think a lot of people are going to pick the Chargers here. But I am not. I'm going to pick the Colts in a close win, 24-21. I don't know if it's going to be a walk-off field goal to win, but it's going to be 3 points. I think they can do enough. They got too many pieces, and they got a lot of momentum going. And the Chargers, as good of a team and defensively they are, they may struggle here against this type of offense, this high-powered offense right now. So we're going to go with the Colts. Next, we got the Packers going up against the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals team is a completely different team from when they start Jacoby or Kyler, right? They're more consistent, and they're actually a better team with Jacoby than they are with Kyler right now. And that's kind of sad to say, considering they've spent so much money on him, his contract, and trying to build a team around him, and they just can't do anything with it. Packers are traveling to Arizona. And I don't know how much of a home field advantage is. I've been to the stadium only to hit their pro shop, because at the time Adrian Peterson was on the team, and I got myself a Adrian Peterson jersey or T-shirt, as well as a Larry Fitzgerald T-shirt. And every single fan that I came across, even when I was in my Vikings gear, they were all super nice to me. Really nice people down in Arizona. So like, you can't take that away from them. Their organization is top tier. I feel like just the frustrations of the Kyler Murray experiment are boiling over, and it makes him look like a dumpster fire. I feel like once they move on from there, we'll go back to seeing the Cardinals of old. Now, the Packers, as much as they've been struggling, they have the ability to kind of put things together when the time comes. It might be a closer game than Packers fans would want to admit. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think even though the talent and whatever you can say to hype up the Packers, I just don't know if they're going to be able to run away with it here. But regardless of who's at quarterback, I think the Packers still sneak away with this win. Give me the Packers 24-17 if Jacoby plays, and 24-10 if Kyler plays. It'd be nice if Jacoby leads them to a win. I'm gonna say 3 points, because I feel like Jacoby might be the guy that they roll with for a little bit here. All right, next we got the Commanders versus the Cowboys. Now the Cowboys are a little bit peeved off after what they saw last week. Rico Dowdle coming back for his revenge game, getting embarrassed the way that they did, has to hurt. So they got to be coming out with a lot of fire and looking to really make a statement here in the division, right? Commanders coming off a game where it looked like they were regaining control, and a bunch of incredible passes by Jaden Daniels in the second half. That bomb, that was a beautiful, beautiful comeback attempt. The rain played a factor here. Maybe it's the inexperience of them playing. No, wait. Commanders don't play in a dome either. So they should be. Wait, that's bad. Wait a second. I was going to say maybe it was a thing of they just aren't used to making these type of calls when it's raining or it was a lot of mist or whatever, right? It was so that makes me kind of think that was a little bit of a coaching blunder here. I would have called a design quarterback run instead. It would have kept the clock moving. And Jaden Daniels got that ability to kind of scramble out and slide and get a couple extra yards and continue to milk the clock and just wait for that play that he can throw that quick slant and get that first down, or maybe a screen or something like that, right? So a little bit of a blunder at the end of the game, but that doesn't take away from what I think these Commanders are well on their way of becoming. And the Cowboys, like I've said, they can boat race anyone, but so can the Commanders. So give me a wild shootout here, and I think the Commanders come away with it. Commanders by, let's go 7 points. I think that these Commanders can do just enough. Moving on to the Sunday night game, we got the Atlanta Falcons coming off a massive victory against the Bills. They were uniquely built to be able to beat these Bills. The Bills can't stop the run, but they can score a ton of points. And when they get things going, it's very difficult to outscore them. The Falcons have a great running game, 2 amazing running backs, as well as a solid defense. And if they can control their turnovers through Michael Penix, you see what they can do. And they were able to put away one of the front runners, or, well, now there really isn't a real front runner, but one of the top teams in the league. Now we got the 49ers are at home. They're really banged up. They're very injured. I'm not sure if Mac Jones is going to start or if Brock Purdy's going to start. Man, a massive loss in Fred Warner there. Thoughts and prayers for him, man. Oh my goodness, that was a scary injury. I never want to see injuries for any team. I just don't care for it. It really drives me up the wall. It hurts seeing that happen because I just imagine their family and and all of the work for to get to where they are. And he's at least Fred Warner is a Hall of Famer, and he's not like a first year guy that this could be like the end of his career, right? So he's already done enough. So man, it still sucks regardless to see. Falcons are going to be looking to run the ball heavily, and the Niners as well, right? Now, which team is going to have the better defense and which team is going to be able to stay in it? It's going to be wild. I think Robert Saleh, although he's a big baby and he's an idiot, for lack of a better way of saying it, he's a good defensive coach. Like I've been saying, focus on what you can do. Who cares if people are legal sign stealing? You can change your signals week to week, buddy. Come on now. But you are still a good defensive coach. The Falcons have a decent defense, so I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring game. Oh, man. Give me the Falcons by 7. 7 points. And they're gonna start trying to make some noise here going into the rest of the season. And then let's move over to Monday Night Football. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers facing the Detroit Lions. We got the rerun Kings with all the excuses and all the bad attitude and blaming the refs and blaming injuries for their ability to not overcome the adversity that they have, facing the team that regardless of the injuries, regardless of the narrative, regardless of the situation, they continue to face adversity and push and find ways to win. We got a guy that's got big play potential and a guy that melts down in big games. So I think it's going to be a good game regardless, but I just don't think these Lions are gonna have enough on their defense to do anything about what Baker Mayfield is coming. I don't care. Just like Baker doesn't care who he's throwing the ball to, okay? He's going to find people. He's going to make plays, even if it's himself breaking tackles, finding ways to get first downs. The man is a winner, and you can't take that away from him. And that's going to be the difference maker, right? He's going to be picking on Brian Branch's backup all game. He's going to be picking on the cornerbacks that are struggling all game because they're decimated in their secondary. And Brian Branch, being the idiot that he is given this game on a silver platter to the Buccaneers. So I don't care that it's a Detroit. I don't care that the home field advantage. It doesn't matter to Baker. So why is it going to matter to me? Usually I put that into my calculations, but Baker and the Bucs are definitely one of those teams this year that are breaking the mold, and those sort of things don't play heavy on them. Whether they're away, whether they're behind, whether they're losing players to injury, it doesn't matter. You know, like I've been saying, Baker and these guys are capable of winning against any team and even winning the Super Bowl. I wholeheartedly believe that. They may not always be able to bring a comeback and win or complete a comeback and win all the time, but the fact that they can face adversity and mount that comeback says a lot about who they are. And I just think that they're going to be able to get out to an early lead. It's going to be quite easy for them to take advantage of this depleted Lions defense. They got practice squad guys out there. They're staying in their base because they're too afraid to play their corners. And they're going to get picked apart from it. All these short passes, man, it's going to be real rough 2 weeks for these Lions. So give me the Buccaneers 34-21. Not going to wait. I'll call back. All right. Next, we got the Houston Texans versus the Seahawks. Man. Oh man, CJ Stroud has not looked the same ever since that we completely broke him. Up until since that week, he has struggled mightily. That sophomore slump was in full effect, and he's struggling this year. And now I see that they've had some tune-up games against some bad teams, and they've been able to kind of find a little momentum, find a little confidence here. But the things that I'm seeing from him when he's in the pocket, he stares down his receivers. He doesn't know how to look off safeties. It's like year one rookie mistakes that he never made, he's making now. It's really weird to see. But as the season goes on, he's going to be looking to improve those things. So I feel that they are going to look a lot better than we've seen. Like, I think they're going to continue to improve. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. I don't know how much of an improvement we're going to see from him. But I do like what I'm seeing from him. And I'm not from him, from the Texans in general. They have a great defense, and they can stay within teams. But there's traveling to Seattle, another team that's got a heck of a home field advantage. So that's going to be very hard for them to overcome. It might even be giving C.J. Stroud, Minnesota Vikings, like flashbacks with all that noise that we put on. Remember all those false starts, all those lost drives that they had to start the game? Man, they were confused and lost in that first half. If the Seahawks can do a lot of the same, they might be feeling, he might be, experiencing some flashbacks here and some, what do they call it when somebody has, when somebody does like, PCP or whatever, or that thing where they say don't fly if you've taken that because you'll get oh man, when you just like go back to that. Either way, he might go back to that and lose his composure and might fall apart, or he might have learned and started to progress. I don't know. It's up in the air. It's hard to tell with CJ Stroud right now, but he still is a talented kid and has all the intangibles. He just has to get it right in between the head here, between the two ears. The Seahawks are who they are. I've been saying from the entire season that I really like this team. I really love Sam Darnold. He is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league, favorite players. I love his story. He's America's quarterback to me. He is living the dream. He, from being, having a great opportunity given to him for then to be the laughing stock and just beat down so hard. And I used to laugh, the Sam Darnold led Panthers, like, I was there too, but he has turned a lot of that around. And when I see them play like we did last year. They come up with sometimes they can come out and get some big leads, but I also see Sam Darnold coming out with these comically hilarious lowlights. Remember that fumble at the beginning of the year? He's got like these weird plays that just you're like, how is a starting potentially franchise level quarterback making these kind of mistakes, right? And then he disappears at times, right? And then he has to find a way late in the third or early in the fourth to put up a scoring drive in order to to maintain control of the game and or having to come up with a big drive at the end of the game to win. Throwing weird interceptions like we've seen him do. So like it's essentially Vikings 2.0 in my eyes. I feel like they're going to do a great job of throughout the season. I think they're going to make the playoffs. My prediction for Sam Darnold this year is that he could probably win a playoff game, but I think he'll lose also in the playoffs as well, making it so that he takes another step forward in his quest to become more confident and more stable in high pressure situations and in big games, specifically the playoffs. Now, next year, I feel like he's going to take another step. And then in a year after that, I think he's going to be something to be worried about. I think he's going to be one of those guys that you can't count out. You can't be using, oh, he crumbles in the playoffs, because I think over these few years, he's going to prove that narrative wrong because his trajectory keeps moving in that direction. So, with all that being said, I think that the Seahawks are going to be too much for the Texans. I think that it might be the Texans will do a little bit better than a lot of people give them credit. But give me the Seahawks 27-17. And there you have it, guys. 10 points from there. And I think we 3 scores for the Bucks. Gonna be bad for them. But anyways, there you guys have it. We have gone through all the picks of the week. I'm going to go ahead and email the host here just in case they bring me on. I'm not sure. It's week to week, right? They try to, on the Real to Sports podcast, they try to make sure that they bring in a whole bunch of different voices in there. So I'm excited to see how that turns out this week. Hopefully I get the invite. And if I do, I will have sent my picks over to the host in preparation for that segment. So thank you very much, guys, for hanging out with me and going over this week's picks. Man, a 47-minute only takes a long time to go through these picks because I want to let you guys know what my train of thought is, giving you my honest opinion on how I calculate these things. You guys can see that I'm trying to be as objective as possible when it comes to these picks, not being delusional like some of these Lions fans. But don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. We are on the way to, on the road to 500 subscribers. I hope to hit that by the end of the calendar year. And thank you for all you guys that support. Eric, you are a real one, brother. Samuel, you are a real one. John, Ryan, Rap, all the crew, the purple and gold bars, the purple and gold crew. Lefty, Yogi, all you guys, Rap, Zoe, D Woods, Mike Sports Vibe, all you guys, thank you so much for all your support. I hope you guys have a great one. Let's get this intro going, just so we can finish with a bang. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.